Anger is simmering in Pakistan over the airstrikes carried out by the Pakistan Air Force.
Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, at least 30 people, including women and children, have been killed in airstrikes by Pakistani Air Force.
Why Pakistan is bombing its own territory and people. Why nobody in the global order is questioning it. And what Pakistan has against the Pashtuni people. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we will be talking about that how come Pakistan is bombing its own territories, and this particular incident has helped India to actually show mirror to Pakistan at the global level, and it is a pointer in the narrative that India is trying to set up. Now when we talk about this particular situation itself where Pakistan has bombed its own territory, let us try to understand what has happened. So if we talk about Tirah Valley, which is basically in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan, it has seen blasts. So the government is blaming that it has been Taliban that has carried out this blast, but the reports and the eyewitnesses are clearly suggesting that it was Pakistan Air Force which has used aircrafts from China, that is Chinese LS-6 glide bombs, and they have done air strikes in the Tirah Valley region, which has led to more than 30 deaths, and it includes innocent women and children as well. However, Pakistan has given a logic and rationale to it that they were not trying to target the innocent or civilians, they were rather trying to target TTP, that is tehreek-e-taliban Pakistan. So basically they were trying to target a militant outfit which has a bomb making facility in this region. And if we talk about the recent time, Pakistan has really tried to work on the ground and as well as air operation, especially on tribal border regions which serve as a strategic entry for route from Afghanistan. So basically this entry route of militants has been targeted, but this is not very clear why this incident has happened. So basically it is another step in the same direction and it should not be taken as an isolated incident. यहाँ पे जो incident हुआ है ये अलग से हमें reflect जरूर कर रहा है, but ऐसे कई incidents जो हैं पाकिस्तान में हमें देखने को मिले हैं which shows a clear pattern of violence. यहाँ पे हमें एक pattern of violence देखने को मिल रहा है जो यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान अपने ही कंट्री के अंदर इंटरनल मोबिलाइजेशन के लिए, इंटरनल थ्रेटनिंग के लिए, इंटरनल रेडिकलाइजेशन के लिए करता रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, देयर हैव बीन 8 मेजर मिलिट्री ऑपरेशंस specifically in the tribal areas, if you talk about, which have been carried out by Pakistan government outfits since 2007, and this has led to a big pain point, especially for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region, where we find Pashtuni tribes, where villages have been destroyed, where the roofs of homes have been unturned, and we have also found displacement. Locals have been always in a position where they are just being treated as a buffer point, especially when we are talking from the border states. We'll be getting into details of this, and we will also be understanding that how this is a point that India needs to raise, that what kind of a neighbor that we are dealing with, and that actually shows it to the world as well. So when we are talking about Pakistan here, we also have to understand that why Pakistan is behind specifically Pashtuni tribes. So when we talk about Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region, you see this green region, this is basically dominated by Pashtuni tribes. In Pakistan, this has limited region. But here we get to find that Pashtuni tribes are dominating this region, and you can see this is also the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So the first reason Pashtunis are being targeted is because of the geography, because this is the area which is a strategic entry for the militants that we get to see, also the immigrants that come from here. Second, there is a strong stereotyping that has also been seen, because these are the people who are viewed as militant groups which have links to Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, that is TTP. So they are also targeted because of stereotyping. Third, buffer policy. The locals have the clear understanding that they are being used as expendables. यहाँ पे इस रीजन को ही एज अ बफर यूज किया जा रहा है और यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान ने अपनी जरूरत के हिसाब से, पाकिस्तान एज पर इट्स नीड हैज यूज्ड द मिलिटेंट ग्रुप्स फॉर पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन द फॉरेन पॉलिसी एंड देन इट स्टार्ट्स टारगेटिंग देम बेस्ड ऑन देयर नॉन रिक्वायरमेंट. Another key factor is the main protest that was going on in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region, which was silenced by Pakistan. If you talk about their leader, Manzoor Pashtun, he was arrested for even a peaceful resistance where he was demanding just basic human rights which he should be getting for living there. So as a result, we have seen that the Pashtun region and the population suffers bombings, displacements, as well as right violations that have been seen. Another key component that I started the conversation with was the fact that why nobody is talking about it, why the world is silent when we have human rights violation, UNHRC cries hail and Mary, especially when something goes wrong in India. But when something of this scale is happening in Pakistan, why there is no question about it? Now there are a lot of dimensions associated with that also. First, coming to the fact, strategic ambiguity. So as I said, Pakistan decides to use these militant groups, keep them in shelter when it is serving their foreign policy purposes. बट जब यहाँ पे इनके फॉरेन पॉलिसी पर्पस सर्व नहीं होते, वो इररेलेवेंट हो जाते हैं, तो वो पाकिस्तान के लिए मिलिटेंट ग्रुप्स हो जाते हैं. तो यहाँ पे कोई क्लैरिटी ही नहीं है कि क्या ये मिलिटेंट ग्रुप्स हैं, क्या इनको पाकिस्तान प्रोटेक्शन दे रहा है, यहाँ पे कोई क्लैरिटी देखने को नहीं मिल रही है हमें. सेकेंड पॉइंटर इज जियोपॉलिटिक्स. In geopolitics, you will understand Pakistan's all-time favorite friend and all-time ally is China. Chinese glide bombs have been used in this airstrike. China is there to support, China is there to veto the resolutions and also make sure that such issues are not brought in front of the multipolar forums that exist. Because it would not just be Pakistan which will be suffering in this context, China will also get the hit. The other big reason is much more internal because there is no oversight, be it press, be it media, be it the human right groups. They have no access or any kind of power to actually bring this to light that what is exactly going on in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. And if there is any power, that is also diminished by army dominance. All of this simply leads to a global silence that we see where the countries are prioritizing their alliances rather than the human rights which should be talked about. But this is not the case with India. India, even in the time of adversity, when we were standing against Pakistan because of the terrorism stance that they have had, especially in the past 6 months, even after that, during the time of floods, India was humane enough to offer them the information firsthand. But in this situation, India being righteous, India is going ahead and pointing it out as well, and that is also coming out as India's gain, because India has clearly gone ahead and especially at UNHRC highlighted, our ambassador has highlighted that Pakistan should focus on its own internal matters and we need no lessons from a terror sponsor. At UNGA, our own external affairs minister S. Jaishankar has also warned that Pakistan cross-border terrorism policy will not succeed and they should look at what is going on in their own country and how they are violating human rights, and also called for accountability. So the India's real narrative that shows how Pakistan has been operating has also got key evidence with these airstrikes that have happened in Pakistan, and now this will help India and all the countries when we are talking about anti-terrorism policy to build a narrative that how terror sponsor countries like Pakistan, they are positioning themselves as the perpetrator of terror, and when we are talking about internal, they are also abuser of human rights. So all of this also gives a diplomatic edge to India to actually prove that where Pakistan stands, and also tell them and again reiterate that whatever Pakistan is claiming on Kashmir is absolutely baseless, and they have again reaffirmed that how Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh remains an integral part of our own very country. In conclusion, we have to understand that Pakistan has been bombing its own country for long time, and it has a long cycle of internal militarization. It is not a random or isolated event that has happened just now. It basically comes from lack of accountability that nobody is questioning, but this is the time that globe comes together and actually asks those countries and pushes the buttons of those countries which are going in the wrong direction, because that threatens the mankind at whole. Now that was all from my side. Thank you so much. Let me know your doubts and concerns in the comment section. Thank you.